What's up, everybody? Rob here. So, soap has a very long and storied history. The first known use of soap was in Babylon around 2800 BC. And note I said BC and not BCE because I'm not a degenerate. Shortly afterwards, the Egyptians and the Mesopotamians created their own formulas for soap made with boiled ashes and fats, usually animal fats, but they could use plant based fats as well. Much later on, the Greeks would use ash and lye as a cleaning agent for pots and cooking utensils, as well as for use in cleansing religious articles. Now, the Romans, as well as their Gallic neighbors, invented a type of soap using goat tallow and beech tree ash to make their own soap. And I just want to point out that all of these types of soaps were used for the wool manufacturing trade to clean wool from the oils found on it and not for hygienic purposes. That would come much, much later. This was entirely done to process wool as it came off the sheep. Now, throughout the Middle Ages, soap was used for bathing, and the first scents added to the soap were used in that particular context. And I just want to also point out that the trope that you see in fiction all the time of people in the Middle Ages being absolutely filthy, that is completely untrue. Mostly it was made by later historians to show how backwards and barbaric the people during the Middle Ages were. It is completely untrue. In any case, major soap manufacturing centers sprang up throughout Europe, particularly in France, especially in the Marseille area, and in Spain, particularly in Castile. In 1791, Nicolas Leblanc patented a process for making soda ash from common salt, making the necessary ingredients all the more easy to acquire. In the early 20th century, synthetic detergents were first made in Germany, and also in Germany developed the batch kettle boiling method for mass production. That's a very brief history of soap and where it came from, but no matter where it came from, the basics are pretty much the same. You take fat, could be animal or vegetable, and it's mixed with lye to create soap, and that's pretty much it. Okay, now that you know the brief history of soap and where soap came from, we're going to be making, well, I'm not going to be making, he's going to be making, this is my brother Nick, he's going to be making soap and basically giving a modern take on soap creation and production. So let's get down to it. Okay, so what are the ingredients? What are we doing?
Basically, to make soap, you need a few things. Your oils, I have both a combination of hard oils and liquid oils. By hard oils, I mean they're hard at room temperature. Liquid oils, just liquids. I do add a couple of additives, including a clay and an oatmeal. It's for how the bar feels on your skin.
Is it necessary for the clay and oatmeal?
It is absolutely not. People find adding the clay and the oatmeal, it's better for how the bar goes against their skin.
Okay.
And then the most important part is the sodium hydroxide or the lye. Without that, you essentially don't have soap. You need lye to make soap.
Otherwise, it's just olive oil or whatever oil. And the Romans did do that. They did just use olive oil, but we're not Romans. We have advanced. We have advanced beyond that. Get your own scrapers on your own time. I think it's called the speculum or whatever. Any case, all right, so what do we do? How do we do this?
Essentially, the first thing I'm going to do, because you need to kind of worry about temperatures a little bit.
Oh, wait, before we get started, have you at any point in your life ever worked in a movie projection studio?
No.
Like, or worked for a movie, you operated a movie projector?
No.
Do you know Robert Paulson?
No.
Okay, yeah, I think we're safe. Have any of these fats ever come from a liposuction clinic?
No.
Okay, we're good.
Distilled water and the lye.
Does it have to be distilled?
Some people say yes, some people say no. I prefer the distilled, just because there's nothing in it. It's pretty much pure. And the way I do this, I have two smaller batches that I pour together, two different colors, to go into this bigger molds.
And how much of water of each? How much about? How much soap are we going to be making?
The whole block is going to be a 56 ounce mold, and it comes out to be around 20 to 21 bars.
And so, how much water in each? How much water would people start out with?
There's calculators online. It all depends on, because there's things such as lye discounts, water discounts. It's very individual to the soaper, and depending on the oils you use, you need different amounts of water, different amounts of lye. end up running a calculation sheet, and it'll tell you how much liquid, how much sodium hydroxide, etc.
There's a lot of numbers here. There's numbers. Just look it up on your own. Figure it out.
The easiest one I find to use is soapcalc.net. That you plug in all the different oils and it'll tell you exactly how much sodium hydroxide, how much water, that kind of stuff. With the lye, it's very caustic. It can burn you pretty bad. It's highly recommended to wear goggles.
Why aren't you?
Because I don't.
Okay.
There's a myth that you're supposed to, if you do get lye burns, to run your hands under vinegar. Don't. Just water's fine.
That's not what the movie said. So.
And again, I have to do essentially 2 of everything because I take 2 half batches and combine them. That's how I get swirls in my soap.
Okay, very cool.
It's a design thing that I find people enjoy.
The lye and the water are mixing together right now to create a thermic reaction, and this is actually warm to the touch. Don't touch it. Now to measure out the various lipids that will make up the bulk of the soap that will react with the lye and the water. This is raw shea butter. This is palm oil. And this is raw coconut oil. Okay, so solid oils are being melted right now. What are you adding in now? What is this?
This is a very, very light oil. It's actually sweet almond oil. I use it to take the solid mica powder that I use as coloring and kind of disperse it because it's an oil soluble material. And you use a very light oil versus your heavier, say like a castor oil or even your liquid your solid oils like a coconut because you can't.
So this is just purely for coloration effect, not
It's
part of
for-
the actual soap.
The mica powder is just for colorant. The almond oil is part of my recipe.
So even if you didn't want to color it, just wanted it uncolored, you would still put that in or not?
Yeah, I personally still would. In my classic home style where there is no fragrance, there is no colorant, I still do have the sweet almond oil in the recipe.
Okay, very cool.
Little trick is to pour it down the side of a glass rod. Prevents spills. And I use the glass because it's non-reactive to anything and it doesn't absorb the scents, it doesn't absorb any of the oils.
And now mica powder is added to the almond oil to give coloration. And that you just sort of wing it, right? Just like how.
No, there's actually a formula. It's 1 to 2 teaspoons per pound of liquids. Everything is measured in ounces and pounds. I'm sure you could use grams if you're from another country.
The metric system is degenerate.
But it's not fluid ounces, even though you would think, hey, they're liquids. No, it's everything is.
That's probably has something to do with like marketing or something.
No, it's a weight.
Yeah,
it's
goes
a
by weight,
thing.
not by volume or something.
Not by volume.
Because things tend to settle. So, yeah. And what's the next step? What are you doing?
Once everything comes out of the microwave in liquid form as they're heated, you now add all the liquid oils to the.
And so, what oils are? What is this? What are you putting in?
I have a mixture of avocado, castor, and olive oil as my liquid oils.
And you don't need to add any one of these. Just whatever's.
Whatever you prefer.
In general, can you use any kind of oil or fat or whatever, or are there limits?
You can, but there are limits to what you can use, and There's reasons for things like hardness, how cleansing it is, things like castor oil are good for the lather of the bar. So it does require either pure olive oil bar or a mixture where you do have properties from the other oils.
And what is that being added in now?
Castor oil.
That's castor. And now olive oil is being added in. Okay, so everything's mixed together. You got the two types of oils in here, the solid and liquid. They're all melted together, and this is going to be swirled. So you really, if it was just a solid color, you would just put it all in one batch, right?
Yeah, it would be one 56-ounce batch to fit my mold. Which the thing with soap making is you can get molds of any size, shape, whatever. The recipes that you make are purely scalable. You can scale up, scale down. Nothing's going to change besides the proportion.
Right. So it would all be together, but since you are making it two colored swirled together because it looks cool, I guess, I don't know. But therefore you have them in two separate batches. So what's the next step? What are you doing?
Next step, I add in the oatmeal and the clay. Again, this is purely for how the bar glides against your skin. This is soap. It's not a cosmetic, so I don't know what these do to your actual skin, but this is how it glides against your skin. It's not for like a nourishment or anything like that. It's just for how it feels as you're washing.
Purely tactile, nothing else.
Yeah.
Okay. See, I use big words.
I don't. I use numbers.
And what is that exactly going in?
This is colloidal oatmeal.
And is that just regular oatmeal that's been ground down, or is that like something special about it? Like
depends on who you
somebody
talk
get some Quaker, get some Quaker
It
and put it in a
it's
blender.
ultra fine, so you probably will not be able to do it on your own. You are going to need specialized equipment to get it as fine as it is.
Stupid. And what is that you're adding in now?
This is kaolin clay.
And what is that? What kind of clay? Just
It's a special kind of clay that, again, is good for how the bar glides against your skin.
but like you don't know where it comes from or what it's.
I'm not entirely sure.
Okay, so now you're adding in. What is that you're adding in right now?
This is the almond oil with the mica powder that I use to color it, and this is also the fragrance oils. Essential oils that I use to scent all of my.
And what essential oils are being used in this particular one?
This particular is a combination of rosemary, lemon, and lime.
Okay, and that's just for this
That-
batch right here, or this stuff here.
This one's got the white mica powder. The fragrance is the same in both.
Okay. And so this is green
The green one,
with the same oils and
same oils,
and
same everything, same
Fragrances.
essential oils.
same fragrances, same everything.
Everything's the same. It's just one's green and one's white.
So the next step, I'm setting this up here so you can see it, but hi guys, how you doing? Next thing you're doing is mixing the lye water that we had mixed. Well, he mixed. I'm not doing this. He mixed it previously. It's actually very warm right now, and we're mixing it into each one of them. And what is the purpose of this? Explain.
This is actually how the soap is actually made. The magic of the lye and the oils, the saponification of the fats, makes this soap. This process can take anywhere from a few seconds to a few minutes to start solidifying. I have a soap where I use a fragrance oil. The saponification process takes literally seconds. It's one where I have to move extremely fast, versus something like my lavender essential oil soap. I have a long time. I have several minutes before it starts to solidify and turn into the soap. I've never used these fragrance oil combinations, so
You have no idea, do you? How
it's
long?
going to be an experience.
Okay, so okay, let me get in here, get in, and then let me. I'm zooming in now because I have a zoom in feature. Ooh, and 2.5. Okay, there we go. All right, so we're gonna take a look. We're gonna see exactly what happens here, and okay, have fun.
All right, and it's you need a stick blender, and that's pretty much it. I like to do what's known as a very light trace, so everything becomes very pourable. So we'll see how this actually turns out.
And you mix it with this blender thingy.
Yep, stick blender. So this is one where I have to move fairly quickly. And you always go from the lightest to the darkest when you're mixing in the colors. So this way I don't turn the white on.
Good.
Now to create my swirls, I have my mold, and I literally just take the soap batter at this point, pour it in. I make a swirl design.
Purely for aesthetic purposes.
Purely aesthetic. It's actually hidden pretty nice.
And this is very rapidly. This took maybe 30 seconds before it started to congeal. I guess the word is that the word. I'm using congeal. Is it the technical term? I don't know, nor do I care. But yeah, this actually happened very, very quickly. So you got to be really focused. It's not something you can just
Again,
like
certain ones like a pure lavender, it behaves very, 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 very well. You do have plenty of time.
Yeah, I'm just gonna get a bit closer here. I'm going to be zooming in so you can see. And there we go, zooming in. You can see the swirl pattern already there. Looks very, very aesthetically pleasing. Looks like marble. So there you are. And so yeah, just keep mixing them in together until you get
back
it.
and forth till you get the design you are looking for.
Cool.
Done with the green and back to the white.
As you can see here, you have to be very, very precise because this is right up to the edge right there. So if you're even a slight bit off with your calculations, it's going to overflow. I don't think it'll be that big of a deal, but I don't like cleaning up messes. So
It makes a big mess, especially it's the lye is still active.
Oh, yeah.
So if you touch it, you can get a lye burn at that point.
That's something to be avoided.
Yes, you don't want lye burns.
Yes.
And if you could see, it's starting to form peaks, which is again part of an aesthetic that I like to try and maintain.
I'm just gonna get a closer look here. I'm awkwardly trying to balance a tripod here, but anyway, yes, you can see peaks forming, I guess, sort of.
Slightly.
Very slightly, but...
And the longer I do this, the more you'll see the peaks start.
Yeah, it's really solidifying into a solid bar right here.
And again, this is purely from an aesthetical.
I'm pretty sure aesthetical is not a word.
This is.
I don't think it is.
This particular batch will now rest for 24 to 36 hours.
Okay, so we've got the one that was just made. It's right over there resting. You saw that. What is this?
This is a batch that I made late yesterday. It's our new winter scent that I'm trying. It's a pure peppermint bar. What happens is you let the batch you make, you sit for 24 hours. roughly 18, 24. You can push it to 36, but I like to do that 24-hour mark.
Doesn't really matter how long, as long as it's solid, doesn't really matter.
If you go too long, you won't be able to cut it.
It gets too slow.
It becomes too hard.
Okay, so this is roughly 24 hours?
This is about 18 at this point. I made it a little later in the day, but again, it'll be fine enough to cut.
So you're just cutting?
Yeah, at this point, I cut it, and I use a cutter that uses a guitar string. Yeah,
Guitar string.
a guitar string. A very.
Did you make this or this came?
No, I bought that from somebody online, I believe on Etsy.
Oh.
And he has cutters. You can cut this whole thing in once. I chose an individual bar, and I can adjust the size as well. Mold out of the way.
And then get a nice close up of. And why are you wearing gloves?
This is a final product for the consumer, so I like to keep it extra safe and wear gloves as I'm doing this cut. Before I even started, all the surfaces were sanitized. I wiped everything down, cleaned it with alcohol to make sure everything is as clean and sterile as I possibly can get.
You put it in the guillotine. Gonna gonna zoom in here. Get a nice close up.
Yeah, guitar string.
So there's really nothing special. It's just a guitar string with
It's a
a.
guitar string.
It looks like a cheese cutter.
It's a glorified cheese cutter. You can use. I have seen people use cheese cutters.
You can use a knife too, I guess.
You can, but I do this to maintain an equal spaced bar for sale.
And how big are each of these bars? Well, that you're cutting off the ends, obviously.
I cut off the end. And I use these as testers. I test each bar on my own to make sure it's safe and so I hold these off to the side, and I have a huge collection from the 30 varieties that I do sell.
Cool.
I make each of my bars 22 millimeters thick. After cured, it turns out to be approximately 3.6 ounces per bar.
3.6 ounces per bar. All right. So let's see. Slides right through there very easily. And there you go.
Add in the swirl, and that's what it looks like.
Very nice. So there you go. That's the finished product.
And then I just have to do this a million more times. And as you can see, the swirl pattern is slightly different in each one.
Yep.
It makes each one different, each one unique, and interesting for the people to look at.
Very cool. Okay, so this is again the final product, more or less. This and a lot of other products are available. Go to fnthomestead.com. Link is in the description. There's a wide variety of candles, soap, and other products, air fresheners, a bunch of other things, all handmade by my brother. He has way too much spare time, I guess, but hey, we all need our hobbies. Any case, use the coupon code JERSEY, that's JERSEY, save 15% off of your entire purchase. So that is it for this video. Please hit the like and subscribe button. More videos will be coming out whenever I get around to it. Have a good day. Or don't have a good day. You're an adult. Have any kind of day you want. See you later.